curious your first impressions of Braden. You know, a young guy, probably a lot of enthusiasm there. Just what impressions do you have of him early on?
The biggest impression I've had of him is how he can control the meeting rooms. You know, obviously everything's been virtual, but he has a presence and he can really control the meeting room, and he's knowledgeable, enthusiastic. So he's been a lot of fun to learn from and work with so far.
Kyle?
Hey, Matt, good to see you. Just curious to hear your thoughts on having the all of Detroit rooting for you with the whole beer thing. You know, I'm curious how that came about and what that experience has been like for you.
It came about, you know, Brandon McManus, who I know I'm friends with, he did an interview and partnered up with Bud Light and, you know, basically got a sponsorship. So when he said when he breaks the long field goal record that the whole city of Denver was going to get free beer on him and Bud Light. So then basically I kept getting notified about it and whatnot. So I'm not very active on social media. So finally I tweeted something back just saying, hey, what are we going to do for Detroit? You know, and if I were to break the record. And then it kind of, you know, kind of got spun, and now it's a competition, but it really comes down to just, you know, making the opportunity to make, and hopefully we'll get a longer one than Denver does this year.
Then on a more serious note, real quick, just as a follow-up, you know, obviously a lot of players are making their decisions on whether to play this year. I'm just curious what goes through your head as you weigh that decision yourself, and why did you decide to play, at least as you have decided so far?
For me, you know, I don't have any health issues that would, you know, make it as dangerous. And I understand some guys, you know, everyone's situations are different. But for me, I just love playing and I want to play, and my family's behind me. And, you know, the team here, the organization has done such a good job where I feel like it's almost like our own bubble. It's so safe and everything's clean and so organized. It's awesome being here where I don't have to worry once I'm in these doors. I'm more worried about when I go home. But for me, the decision was easy. I'm excited. I want to play, and my family's behind me, so that made it easier for me.
Okay, we'll go Mike Rothstein next.
Hey, Matt, how are you? I have a couple questions. First, I was following up on that a little bit. Have you decided whether or not to homeschool your kids or what you're going to do there, just because, like, you're talking about bubbles and wanting to be safe? What have those conversations been like?
You know, my wife and I have talked about it. We've kind of gone back and forth with the virtual learning and different things. We're still kind of weighing our decisions. And for me personally, you know, now I'm more worried about my kids going to school and bringing it home, and then I bring it into the building. And so that's, you know, obviously something I've got to focus on and figure out. But we're still talking about it, and the schools are giving us different options on what we can and can't do as far as send them back, the virtual and half and all that good stuff.
Also, what was the last few months like for you? I know you were mostly in Michigan, but like pandemic wise, like what did you do? How did you handle that? How did the family handle that?
We stayed in Michigan the entire time and just stayed busy. We, you know, got a lot of projects done at the house, spent a lot of quality time with the kids, basically built a home gym in my garage. So I've been working out and keeping busy that way. And just trying to keep my kids and my family safe, kind of keep to ourselves, trying to stay as active and busy as we can without exposing ourselves too much.
Cool. Thanks, Matt.
We'll go Jen Hammond, then Tim.
Good afternoon, Mr. Prater. Nice to see your face. Glad you're healthy.
Thanks, you too.
I have two questions. The first one is, can you just kind of give us, I mean, you started to allude to it at the end of Kyle's question there about just the sense of being in the building, and if it's surreal, what it's like with all of the protocols and all of the checkpoints and all of that. I know you said you're safe, but how strange and surreal is it?
It's like anything else, you know, wearing a mask just like you have to in public. It's definitely a little different, but that's what everybody has to do to stay safe. And it's obviously different and kind of learn as we go. But if this is what we have to do to get back in the building and play and work as a team and get together with everyone, I feel like it's easy for us to do. And I think everyone in here just kind of feels we're all excited and just appreciative and happy to be here. And like I said before, the organization's kind of gone above and beyond and keeping us safe and, you know, doing anything and everything they can for us as players to be in the building. So we're super excited and happy about that too.
I know that it's certainly as the season goes on, as the workouts go on, we're going to see more and more guys being, added to the COVID list and whatnot. That's kind of part of the new normal. But how much does it hit home when you see Matthew Stafford on the COVID list?
Well, it's just kind of like you said, it doesn't discriminate. Anyone can get it at any time, whether you're being cautious or not. So it's just taking the extreme measures and trying to keep yourself safe and healthy. But yeah, it definitely hits home. It's scary, especially Stafford being such an important part of our team. But he'll come back and be ready to go.
Okay, we'll go Tim, then Justin.
Matt, obviously you've had, the same holder, same punter there for a long time. And Sam, he's moved on to Denver. Just curious, the newness of that operation, how that's going so far, and how much time do you really need to kind of, feel comfortable with a new guy the way you did with Sam?
It'll definitely take some time, but that's a big reason why I'm personally really excited being back in the building, is to get to work with those guys in person, and with Mule as well and Steve. Just to make up on some of those lost reps that we missed without the OTAs. But moving forward, I think both those guys are more than capable. So they're going to work at it. We're going to work together, and hopefully not miss a beat on the operation.
Justin?
Just building on that a little bit, what goes into getting comfortable with a holder?
I think just repetitions and getting used to each other, mannerisms, the timing, and just doing it over and over, and learning with each other. And everyone's going to be different, but like I said, I think they're both more than capable, and we're going to be working at it and get things rolling pretty quickly.
I know you were talking about breaking your own record. I'm just curious, obviously 36 now, how would you compare your leg strength now to whenever you viewed your peak? Is it's still about the same? Do you think you could make a 65-yarder in the right situation?
I definitely think I could. I feel really good this year going into it. I feel like I'm in better shape. I feel better. My leg feels really fresh right now. And it's like anything else as a kicker. There's probably a dozen guys in the league that can make a 65-yarder. It's just getting the opportunity in an actual game and then coming through on that kick. But I'm definitely not as strong as I was when I was 22 to 25 years old, but I'm a lot more consistent. So it's kind of like evolving with my body changing and getting a little bit older, but kind of changing to kick it a little straighter.
Okay, we'll go Michael Stats.
How you doing, Matt?
Good. How are you?
Good. You're entering year 14, is it right?
Yep.
I'm just curious, as you prepare for another season in this stage of the game, do you switch up anything as far as your training methods to prepare yourself, nutrition, that kind of thing, to help elongate your career at this stage in the game?
Definitely just trying to eat a little better and kind of change, not lifting as heavy and doing more core and different things like that. And making sure I stay flexible, because obviously when you get a little older, you get a little more stiff. And so things you got to work on a little more as you age. But I feel really good and excited going into the season.
And do you pick the brain of any of the older kickers that have been around a long time?
Not a ton, not really, because everyone's going to be different with their bodies and different things. So I'm kind of just learning as I go, and I kind of rely on coaches more so to kind of pick their brains and ask for advice or recommendations.
Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Got time for two more if anybody's got one. Jen?
I could raise my hand faster than I could type. Hey, Matt, so give me a sense of how you think, just with all of the craziness that's going on, I think we've talked to some other guys about this in the offseason, how a team like the Lions may have an advantage going into this season when you've got, a lot of veterans and you've got a veteran quarterback and guys that have been in the system offensively, at least. I know the defense is getting some changes, but how that might help you guys and where you kind of think you are, if you can gauge before the season.
That's hard. That's hard for me because I'm kind of on my own island as a specialist. But I think with the veterans, there's not the learning curve, and obviously guys coming out of college played in a totally different program, totally different system. So having a lot of veterans with the leadership and knowing what to do, what not to do, and knowing the systems, I think will help us a lot.
Okay, we'll go Mike Rothstein for last question.
Yeah, Matt, you've talked a little bit about obviously opting out and what you've looked at with the concerns over COVID. what's your confidence level that y'all are going to be able to play? And really, what is your comfort level with actually playing games and being out there and traveling and the whole situation?
I'm comfortable with it. Just because, for one, with the organization, I don't think they'd ever put any of us at risk. And same with the league. So I'm really confident going into the season that we're going to be able to play. And for me personally, I'm, not, I wouldn't say I'm not overly concerned. I'm definitely concerned, but like I said, I trust in our leadership and everybody in the organization and the league to, not put us at risk and keep us all safe and healthy.
Thanks, man.
Ken Brown, last one.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I don't know if this is last. I just came in. Since Sam's not here this year, gonna have a different holder this year. How much time does it gonna take you to get used to having a new holder, and how long does that natural flow together come? Especially if the punter's not chosen until maybe the last or the third cut. Before the first game.
Right. It'll definitely take a little time, but like I said, we're gonna get to work pretty quick now that we're all back in the building, and it'll take some time. I'm sure there'll be growing pains, but hopefully we'll get through that stuff going before the season, so we're not kind of working through things once we get going. But I don't think it'll take too long to get acclimated to each other, especially with Mulebach being here and being the elder statesman in our group, thankfully. But definitely excited to work with those guys, and I think we'll get rolling and not miss a beat once we get going.
All right, thanks everyone. We're going to end the call and restart it for Jarrad Davis here in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Pat.
The competition hasn't, ramped up yet. That'll be down the road when you guys put the pads on and really start hitting the field. But do you get a sense of, you guys have added some people in that room. There's some veteran guys, some experienced guys, some young guys that have played. There's a lot of pieces in that linebacker room. Do you have a sense of kind of what that competition will look like? And are you looking forward to that? Because as you know, competition does, bring out the best usually in most people.
Yeah, of course, man. Competition breeds excellence. So I'm excited to have those guys in the room with me. And, all of us that have been here for the past couple of years, we're excited to just revamp everything and just continue to just boost the ability that that room can bring.
When you say, I'm sorry, just to follow up, when you say revamp things, what do you mean by that? Just different kinds of things in the defense, or? No,
just making those new additions. I mean, honestly, you bring in new pieces, guys leave, and it's a revamp overall, in my opinion. But like I said, just having those guys come in from, Elijah to Reggie to Jamie, it's gonna be fun playing with those guys because they played a lot of football. They've been on some good teams. They've seen what it's like, what it takes to win, to be in the big dance, and I'm excited to just go to work with them boys every day.
Let's go Jen Hammond next, then Burkett.
Hey, JD, nice to see you. Hope you and your family are all healthy, safe, etc. If you could just kind of give me a little insight onto how you feel being back in the building, your comfort level with all of the protocols, and just how comfortable you are going forward in the season. We were asking Matt Prater about that, with travel and with, guys going on the COVID list, and how you feel that the season will progress. Do you really expect that you guys will be able to get through a season with all the protocols and things that are in place?
Yeah, I think that right now I feel very safe in our building. It's really awesome, everything that the team and all the staff has done to really put us in an environment that is going to keep us safe and allow us to still come in here and go to work every day next to our teammates. It's been a long off season since we didn't have OTA, so just continuing to put that work in on our own proved to be challenging at times during the off season. So to be back in here with everybody, it's awesome. With the season going forward, we really don't know yet. Honestly, we just have to be patient. We just have to take our time and take it one day at a time. Right now, we just finished our second workout of the week. About to go get some lunch, and that's it. I'll show up tomorrow and get tested again, barring that, our tests are negative and says we can come in the building. So I can't really speak for what's out ahead. Me personally, though, I'm not nervous about it. I'm honestly excited. I've been waiting to play football. It kind of helps. It'll help get back to some sort of normalcy through all this chaos that's going on right now.
Go Dave next.
Hey JD, thank you for doing this. Hope you're doing well. Two questions for you. One, can you take us through body transformation, I guess? I think a lot of us saw the pictures, but what'd you do? How did your body change? And how do you think it can help you on the field?
I mean, short version, I worked out for about 20 weeks this off season, and I took maybe 2 weeks off. I ate super clean, and I just really pushed my body to a limit that it hasn't been in ever, really. My body's never felt this good. And through those 20 weeks, it was a lot of 2-a-days. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of, pushing myself to the point where I want to quit almost every single day, and still just being resilient, being mentally sharp, focused, and just, having the ability to push through the workouts. I think that just that mindset, that having to push that hard every single day consistently, is going to help me, just stay focused and learn how to just be locked in pressure situations throughout the season. I made a physical transformation, but I feel like I'm mentally more available, mentally better than I've ever been in my entire life. So,
what do you weigh now versus what you did before? And in that 20 weeks that you were working out, is that longer than normal just because of the off season?
Yeah, it is a lot longer than normal because of the off season. But I weigh 245 right now. I was like 238, 240-ish. So it was a big jump. It was a big jump. It took a lot of work to turn what I had a lot of fat on my body into muscle, and just to be able to be in way better shape.
So the other question I had was the Lions said today that Matthew Stafford had a false positive, and that's why he had to spend some time on the COVID list. Not to talk about his situation exactly, but just as players, how concerning is that? I mean, he tested on a Saturday, right? So if this was a game week, he would have missed a game at your quarterback. So how concerned are you guys about situations like this where a false positive could take a key player out for a period of time?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that are going to be questionable for sure. But at the end of the day, like, we knew coming into this that there were going to be situations like this. And it's just something that we got to hope the NFL and the NFLPA can continue to work at to, I guess, knock situations out that are going to come up like this. Because, yeah, this might be the first one that we've heard about, but I'm sure there's more that are going to happen. So, we just got to hopefully they come up with a better way or continue to work on the way that we're doing it to test everybody. And I'm confident that everything will work out how it needs to.
Okay, let's go, Justin.
Hey, JD, I know you've only been in the building for a couple days, but what's been the most challenging adjustment as a player with the different restrictions you guys have in there now?
I wish that we could be around the whole team at one time. So, I think that's the biggest thing. We got a great group of guys that work out in my group, but we all you have to limit the amount of people that are in the building. So it's going to take time for us to get to that level. But I just miss being able to interact with each and everybody all day, every day. So, but it's a matter of time.
And when we talked to Christian Jones earlier this year, he said he was coming to your place and working out in the quote unquote Lions Den.
Yes, sir.
Just curious if you can tell us a little bit more about this home gym setup you got going on.
Yeah, man. The marquee thing in there was this big picture I bought. It's a big old lion, a picture of a lion, and I just put it down there just as like a little bit of motivation. It's a really cool picture, and we got some weights and got us a little squat rack and a little bench and some dumbbells and about a couple 100 pounds of weights, and we just went in there and went to work every single day, man. I mean, just being able to go in there and still have a place to really push yourself to the limit, and not falling victim to the circumstances that are out there around us it was awesome. It was a good opportunity for us to continue to bond and build a relationship as teammates and as brothers, man. So it was a good time.
All right, we'll go Nick Bumgarner, then Ben Raven.
Hey, Jarrad, thanks for doing this. Speaking of bonding with teammates, how much have you gotten a chance, considering these circumstances, to connect with Jamie Collins, maybe pick his brain at all or get to know him? What has that been a process? Have you guys developed any kind of relationship there?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to kind of build that over the phone for a while, but luckily I kind of get to see him, every day here in the building these past couple of days, and just being able to sit there and just talk to him, man, and just listen to him and him listen to me, just pick each other's brains. It's really cool. Like he's a guy that I enjoy. I mean, honestly, like he's probably one of my favorite types of people that I've ever been around. And he's only the second guy that I know who is actually like that, like who just that same mannerism, his same personality. So like people like him, I love being around. And
why is that?
I mean, he's just real. He's upfront, straightforward about everything, and it's just like it's simple. Like there's not a lot to him. Like some people they want to paint this image of who they are, and it's a lot simpler just to be who you are and not have to worry about trying to portray it onto other people or make people see you. Hey, I'm like this, but I'm really like this. Like Jamie's who he is, and he doesn't care who likes it or who doesn't like it, and he could care less. Like it doesn't really matter. So just being around a person like that just allows me and everybody else to just let your guard down and just be you, man. Just be genuine.
And if I could squeeze one more in, what pieces of his game or parts of his game do you really appreciate, or have you noticed, or maybe some that you want to emulate at all, if there are any?
I mean, ever since like he was in New England the first time, and still like he's just been super athletic, man. Just been able to do so many things. Been making plays in the past game. Dominant rusher, like just watching him, he's just super fluid in his movement, everything. Like seeing that guy play, like it's definitely somebody I was like, man, I hope I can make plays like this. And now being in the locker room next to him, like it's awesome, man. Like I try to keep it cool, just be low key. But I've been watching him for a long time and seen him make great plays. So I was glad to be able to play next to him.
All right, Ben, take us in for last question.
All right. Kind of going back to Dave's question about your physical and mental transformation over the offseason. I don't want to call anything about this offseason easy, but I was wondering if like the virtual work and more time on your own, kind of away from everyone, did it kind of open up to work on yourself a little more, like you were saying, physically, mentally, and just kind of, was that a goal going into the season, or was it kind of just reactionary to how things were playing out?
I think with the way things played out, I kind of had to make a decision at the end of the day to say, okay, I'm either going to fall victim to this and be like, man, I can only do so much, or I'm going to take the reins by, take life into my own hands and kind of manipulate my situation and make the best out of it. And I did that every single day. There was things that would come up and I'd be like, dang, am I going to be able to work out today? Or am I going to be able to do what I need to do today? And I just get up and take it literally. Start at breakfast. I get up, eat my breakfast, my steak and eggs or my chicken and eggs, and then I go upstairs, get dressed, put my t-shirt on and my shorts, and go outside and warm up, and then be like, hey, are we going? We're not going, or whatever. We're going. That's cool. Let's go. And then just living in the moment each and every step of the way, and just breaking the day down into little hour segments, and just making sure that I was where I need to be. I just did what I needed to do. Some days were harder than others, but just getting up and answering the bell every single day was my calling. Like I just made it my move every day.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jarrad. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you guys on Thursday.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Jarrad.
guys.